The day began like any other, though a subtle unease clung to me like a second skin. At first I chalked it up to nerves. Big events can do that, stirring up jitters for no clear reason. It was Anna's sister's wedding after all. A celebration. Time of love and laughter. But somewhere deep inside something felt misaligned. Like a dissonant note in an otherwise perfect symphony. The venue was stunning. A sprawling countryside manor nestled amid rolling hills, its gardens in full bloom. Vivid blossoms painted the landscape, and golden sunlight filtered through the trees in soft beams, giving the whole place a dreamlike glow. Guests mingled on the lawn, dressed in elegant attire, their voices rising in cheerful harmony. Anna looked radiant. She wore a deep crimson dress that hugged her figure, her dark hair cascading in glossy waves over her shoulders. Every so often the sun would catch her just right, and she seemed to shimmer. She smiled for photos, laughed with friends, and played the role of supportive sister flawlessly. I stood by her side, trying to match her ease, willing myself to ignore the whisper of doubt that tugged at my chest. The ceremony itself was perfect. Anna's sister walked down the aisle, glowing with joy, her veil catching the breeze just enough to seem ethereal. The vows were heartfelt, raw, and sincere. I saw tears well in the eyes of even the most stoic guests. The love in the air was palpable, undeniable. Then came the reception, a grand ballroom that seemed plucked from a fairy tale. Crystal chandeliers bathed the room in warm light. Jazz floated through the air, gentle and intoxicating. Tables were adorned with lilies, candles flickering softly like fireflies in twilight. The scent of food mingled with perfume and laughter. Toasts were made. Glasses clinked. Couples danced with abandon. I tried to surrender to the moment, to let the celebration carry me. But that shadow inside me only grew. Subtle at first, barely noticeable. Anna checked her phone more often than usual. She stepped outside for fresh air, her thumbs tapping across the screen in hurried strokes. I wanted to believe it was nothing, just the chaos of the day or a moment of overwhelm. I told myself not to overthink, not to be that husband. But then I saw it. Near the bar, tucked away in a dim corner where the lights didn't quite reach, Anna was standing far too close to a man I didn't recognize. He was tall, sharply dressed, with a kind of easy confidence that instantly made people lean in. And Anna, she leaned too. Her body angled toward his. Her hand lightly grazed his sleeve. She laughed, a laugh so free, so unburdened I barely recognized it. It wasn't mine. That laugh wasn't meant for me. I watched, frozen in place, as the man leaned closer. Their heads bowed toward each other. The intimacy between them was undeniable. It wasn't a friendly exchange. It was something deeper, familiar. His hand rested at the small of her back, and she didn't flinch. She didn't move away. And then it happened. Kiss. Brief. But real. Unmistakable. In that instant my world shifted. It wasn't just a betrayal. It was a desecration. Of trust, of memories, of every quiet moment we'd shared. And it happened in plain sight, in the middle of a wedding that was supposed to symbolize love and unity. Her sister's wedding, no less. I didn't cause a scene. I didn't scream or shout or throw a drink. Instead I walked out. My legs carried me on autopilot through the grand doors, into the quiet of the night. The stars above were scattered and indifferent. The garden was silent, save for the distant sound of laughter and clinking glasses, an orchestra of joy that mocked my hollow chest. I called my closest friend. My voice barely held together as I told him what I'd seen. Driving home was a blur. My hands shook on the steering wheel. Images replayed like a cruel film on loop. Her eyes lit up, his hand at her waist, the kiss. By the time I reached our house, I knew what I had to do. I packed quietly, just the essentials. A duffel bag of clothes, my toiletries, a few personal mementos. I left the rest. Then I sent her a message, just 4 words. It's over. I saw everything. There was no need for anything more. In the days that followed, I ignored her calls. Her texts came in floods, Confusion, apologies, desperate explanations. I didn't respond. Then one night she showed up at my door. Her face was streaked with tears, her eyes red-rimmed. She held a bouquet, trembling. She launched into an apology, saying it was a mistake, that she didn't know what she was doing, that it didn't mean anything, that she still loved me. I listened. I owed her that at least. But when she finished, I looked her in the eyes and spoke with a clarity I hadn't felt in weeks. You didn't just betray me, Anna. You betrayed your family. You betrayed your sister. You kissed him at her wedding. You shattered something sacred. Not just between us, but everything we stood for in front of others. Can't forgive that. I can't pretend it didn't happen. She broke down in front of me, begging, pleading for another chance. But I didn't yield. Some wounds don't heal. Some lines, once crossed, can't be uncrossed. Love may survive distance. It may survive hardship. But it can't survive dishonesty. She left that night, and I closed the door behind her. In the weeks that followed, I poured my energy into healing. Friends became my lifeline. I took long hikes, rediscovered old hobbies, spent time in silence and reflection. Slowly, painfully, I began to rebuild the version of myself that didn't revolve around us, around her. I learned that leaving wasn't an act of weakness. It was an act of strength, of self-respect, finally choosing me. Months later, Anna tried reaching out again. Her messages were frantic, saying she'd changed, that she wanted to fight for us now. But I didn't answer. I didn't need to. That night at her sister's wedding was the end of everything I thought I knew. It was a brutal, heartbreaking awakening. But it was also the moment I took myself back. I was betrayed, broken, but not defeated. Now I walk forward, not with bitterness but with clarity and peace.